Join the party, have a hearty glass of rum.
Hey everybody, it's Adam. It is a rainy and gross day here in Rhode Island, so I thought, why not make a huge pot of meatballs? I know that everybody has their own version of meatballs, but for me, this is the best. It's really simple and really delicious. So let's get started. I'm going to begin by preheating my oven to 375 degrees. And then I'm just going to take a big mixing bowl and add in all my ingredients. Really simple. I'm going to start by chopping up 2 cloves of garlic, and I want it pretty small. I don't want anybody to grab a big piece of garlic in their mouth. I'm going to put the garlic right in my mixing bowl. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley. Alright, 2 tablespoons right into my bowl. Bam. Now I'm going to add 4 eggs. Make sure you crack them into a separate bowl. You don't want to ruin your other ingredients. I'm going to give them a quick whisk just so that they're evenly incorporated into the rest of my mixture, and dump them right into my bowl. Now I'm going to add some spices. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. You could use fresh, you just have to use a little bit more. Now I'm going to add 1 pinch of nutmeg and 1 pinch of cayenne pepper, just to add a little bit of heat. And now a little bit of salt and pepper. 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 teaspoons of pepper. Now it's time to add my meat. I'm using 2.5 pounds of ground sirloin. I know that a lot of times people will add pork and veal to their sirloin. For just my regular Italian meatballs, I generally stick with just the sirloin because pork and veal can be a little fatty. I like it with other stuff, just not with my basic meatballs. So I'm going to take 2.5 pounds of ground sirloin right into my bowl. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of dried breadcrumbs. Mine are plain. You don't want to use the seasoned ones because you're not controlling what's going into your meatballs. Just 1 cup. You might find later, depending on where you live and the humidity, that you might need a little bit more or less. The humidity in the air really controls how you cook. Okay, to add some more flavor, I'm going to grate in 1/2 cup of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, which really makes the meatballs awesome. Alright, now to add some of the creaminess to my meatballs, I'm going to add a tablespoon of ricotta cheese and a big splash of milk. Now the fun part. I've got clean hands and I'm just going to dig into my bowl and mix everything until it's well incorporated. You don't want to press down or else you're going to end up with really dense meatballs. Kind of just fluff it around a little bit. If you find that your meatballs are too dry or too wet, you can either add a little bit of milk or a tiny bit more of the breadcrumbs. My mixture is ready to go. Now it's time to start forming the actual meatballs. I'm going to take some extra virgin olive oil and rub it on the bottom of a 9x13 pan. Now I'm going to fill up a little side bowl with a couple tablespoons of my extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so here's my process. I don't want to inject the meatballs with too much fat, so I'm just going to lightly dip my fingers into my olive oil and grab enough meatball to make a 2-inch ball and roll it in my hands. That way I'm putting a little bit of fat and flavor into the meatball, but it's not saturated inside the meat. I'm going to roll it up and just place it in my pan. And I'm just going to do this until I'm done. My meatballs are all set to go. I'm going to stick them in the oven for about 40 minutes to an hour, just until they're crusty brown on the outside. I took my meatballs out of the oven after about 45 minutes. I'm going to let them cool down just a little bit, and then I'm going to move on and put them into my sauce. I've let my meatballs cool down a little bit, now I'm going to put them into my sauce. The recipe for my simple tomato sauce is also on YouTube. Check it out. You don't want to go through all this effort making really good meatballs and use a jarred sauce. I'm just going to pluck them out and stick them right in the sauce. And now my meatballs are ready to serve with spaghetti, or if you wanted to make a meatball sandwich, that'd be awesome too. This recipe and others are available on my website, adamcrowcatering.com, and watch for more episodes of my cooking show, Cook with Adam, here on YouTube. See you next time, everybody.
Come on, join the party. Have a hearty glass of rum.